Okay, we are going to a cross-country race this morning and we are off to a lovely country park by the river Hamble. I'm looking forward to it.
Aleksandra is competing at Manor Farm Country Park on the banks of the River Hamble in Hampshire. The race is part of a regional inter-club series called the CC6, which along with the summer series forms the backbone of her competition calendar. Aleksandra is keen to see what condition she's in at the start of her training, and the undulating course will hold important answers. It may just be an inter-club race, but at the front of the pack, the pace can be intense, with runners using the series as a good hard training session.
This was last in the series of our local cross-country races, and actually it was lovely. It was a lovely course, one of the most picturesque ones, and surprisingly not too muddy today, even though there was plenty of mud in places. We started at the bottom, and I usually pace myself against one of my mates from the club, and I managed to hang in there behind Claire. And I was going fine, but I realised it wasn't one of my best days really, so I was just, towards the end I was just hanging in there. And I knew there were two ferocious hills towards the end, so I kind of visualised them towards the end, and I thought, no, I really have to do well on those hills in order to do a little sprint towards the end. In general, my running is fine and I'm not injured, and I think, you know, I felt quite strong really, despite not feeling terribly good on this particular day.
Aleksandra and Joanne are meeting for a coffee and a progress update.
So how did the swim analysis go?
It was a very interesting experience. And it was quite a revelation and quite a shock all in one, really. You don't usually see yourself swimming wherever you swim.
No.
They don't have mirrors in the swimming pool. And you kind of imagine that you swim with this beautiful, graceful motion, and, you know, you're gliding through the water. Yeah. And so I was imagining I was, you know, doing pretty well, until, of course, they put cameras on you and they sort of push this current against you. And then it all becomes clear. The faults are exaggerated by the current, and the cameras capture everything. And then you kind of find yourself like an elephant in the pool thrashing around.
Okay, so that's the swim analysis done. I think the next thing we should look at is your cycling. So perhaps if we'll have a look at you actually cycling up a hill, just to sort of look at your power output and your technique.
You know, I've only got a mountain bike at the moment, so if we go off-road and maybe, you know, assess my power like that. Okay, what are we going to do then?
Okay, well, I'm going to get you to cycle up this hill a couple or 3 times.
3 times?
That's right, yeah. Okay. Don't worry, you can have a rest in between each one.
Right.
But I just want to have a look at how what your technique is like at pedalling, and also how you're sitting on the bike, so I can sort of assess your strengths and weaknesses from there.
Aleksandra has been riding mountain bikes for many years, so she's more at home here than in the endless pool. The question is, what will Joanne make of her ability on the bike? Especially as she's never ridden a race before. The hill Joanne's chosen is a good test because it's reasonably long and steepens towards the top, keeping the pressure on. Joanne's keen to see how Aleksandra responds and whether she can keep a fluid rhythm all the way up.
Good. No, that was fine. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Okay. Well, initial thoughts is that obviously you sit nice and still on the bike, which is good.
Oh, that's good.
That's usually a good trait of mountain bikers, actually. Upper body's nice and strong, not bobbing all over the place.
About,
So that's good. Yeah, I think we just need to work on the power, obviously, a little bit. It's always kind of a weakness, especially for women, is on the hill climbing and actually getting the power through the pedals. So I think the next little drill we'll do is the same thing again, but this time see if you can keep it on the big chain ring on the bike.
On the big?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay.
If you get any knee pain or anything, then obviously drop it down onto the middle chain ring. But yeah, I just want to see what you like at actually. Putting a bit of power through the pedals a bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. On the big one.
If Aleksandra handled the first drill comfortably, she's certainly going to learn something about her true level of strength on the bike this time. And the initial signs are not good. Finally, she's able to get the cadence up and increase speed, ready for the hairpin turn. The question is, what sort of condition would she be in at the top, after the steepest part?
Nope. She's down the bottom.
Ah, she bailed out. At the bend.
That's right. That's quite a good drill to do.
Is it?
Whether you do it sort of out in the forest or on your road bike once you get your road bike, and just really practice, as well as actually stamping down on the pedals.
Yeah.
You want to try and get the glutes and the hamstrings working as well, so you're actually pulling or pushing
back,
pulling or pushing, whichever
Okay.
terminology works best for you. It's just to get that kind of powering right the way through the stroke. I can't see any fundamental flaws in your pedalling technique.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's a bit of a confidence boost for me today.
Absolutely.
So otherwise I would have been completely shattered by the end of this weekend. Your riding's rubbish, your swimming's rubbish.
That's right, just give up.
Just to give up. Go and run.
By the sounds of it, she's doing enough sort of cycling. She's got a couple of long sessions at the weekend anyway. I think those 2 sessions combined with a strength or power session, some hill climbing during the week, will certainly be enough to see her through the bike in a fairly reasonable time, I should think, come race day. Obviously the other thing we need to start working on is the brick session, so just getting used to running off the bike. But I think the cycling on the whole looks pretty good. She's nice and smooth. She sits still on the bike, which is a good thing. It's kind of a fundamental flaw that a lot of athletes have. So obviously from all the mountain biking that she's done, she's got a fairly good sound base, I think.
Next time on Trading Up, Aleksandra takes delivery of her wetsuit. There's advice from the man they call the Fish, Richard Stannard, and Olympian Emma Davis. And she gets her first taste of open water swimming.